To me, it's just hatred towards this young lady. Only thing she's doing, like you said, is out here. She's playing the game of basketball, and she's having fun doing it.
I love her game. A lot like Steph. She reminds me of Steph Curry a lot. You know,
anybody that does something flagrant to this young lady for what she's brought to the game should be suspended and fined big time for doing that.
Caitlin Clark, hailed as one of the most exciting talents in basketball today, faces a storm of challenges both on and off the court. From comparisons to NBA legends like Stephen Curry to criticism and controversy surrounding her treatment in the WNBA, Caitlin's journey is anything but smooth. But why does she face so much resistance despite her undeniable talent? Let's uncover the truth. Caitlin Clark has drawn support from a surprising figure. Though she's been praised by many NBA legends, the reaction within the WNBA community has been notably mixed, often displaying envy rather than respect. This unusual dynamic underscores a unique divide in how men's and women's basketball communities view Clark's rise to prominence. Among her supporters on the men's side, Stephen Curry was one of the first to openly endorse her.
You can't help but watch when she plays, where she's shooting from, the range, the confidence, the flair, like she's a performer.
Curry, whose long-range shooting revolutionized the NBA, sees much of his own playing style reflected in Clark's approach to the game. In an interview, he noted that while her deep shooting range resembles his, focusing solely on that aspect risks overlooking the broader dimensions of her skill.
I saw somebody break down the release time, which is pretty much identical to mine.
Curry was quick to point out that although Clark's shooting is her headline skill, it's her complete skill set that truly distinguishes her. Her court vision, passing, and ability to consistently impact the stat sheet showcase her as a well-rounded player.
It's crazy though, just because her shot it's like that, it's at that level. But if you really watch, like her floor game is as impressive, so it's kind of the total package.
He described her shooting as her superpower, but emphasized that her full range of abilities is what genuinely sets her apart. Another NBA icon, LeBron James, shared similar thoughts, expressing his admiration for all that Clark has accomplished on the court.
Caitlin Clark is the reason why a lot of great things is going to happen for the WNBA. But for her individually, I don't think she should get involved on nothing that's being said. Just go, have fun, enjoy.
After watching Clark take control of the scoreboard during an NCAA tournament game, LeBron saw elements of himself in her play. Much like he did early in his career, Clark often takes on the responsibility of leading her team to victory, shifting the game's momentum almost single-handedly. In his words, Caitlin Clark is the type of player who can take over a game, elevate her teammates, and still excel individually. High praise from someone who knows the demands of carrying a team. But Clark's story isn't solely about her on-court skills. Being from Indiana, specifically the Indianapolis area, her rise naturally draws comparisons to one of basketball's greatest legends, Larry Bird. In the 1980s, Bird was more than just a player. He was a cultural icon, celebrated for his relentless work ethic, gritty playing style, and fierce competitiveness. So, as Clark continued breaking records, it was only natural for comparisons to Bird's Indiana-bred basketball brilliance to arise, and it wasn't just the hometown connection that sparked interest. Magic Johnson, Bird's longtime rival, also commented on Clark's impact, likening her emerging rivalry with Angel Reese to his iconic battles with Bird in the 1980s. Johnson observed that while rivalries can be intense, they elevate the game and draw more fans to the sport.
We have to understand that both Caitlin, Angel, and Brink, who plays for my Sparks, they made the WNBA better. They're going to be tested by these incredible women who've been in the league for a long time. Caitlin is the most popular WNBA player, but she's not the best at this time. Just like Larry and I were not the best when we entered the league. We became the best later on by our play. Caitlin still has to play great to become the best WNBA player.
In Johnson's words, Caitlin and Angel have revived that classic spirit of basketball where everyone eagerly watches to see what will happen next. "It's like Larry and me all over again," he remarked. And now, Larry Bird himself has finally spoken up about Clark. Though he's remained mostly silent on the topic until now, Bird recently offered her some advice as she faces growing criticism on and off the court. He urged her to stay focused, reminding her that while critics will always be there, they won't last. "What you're doing now," Bird told her, "is going to be remembered forever. Those trying to tear you down, they'll fade away. Trust me, I've been there." Just when you thought the spotlight couldn't get any brighter, Caitlin finds herself at the center of a heated debate, sparked by none other than Megyn Kelly. From accusations of mistreatment in the WNBA to claims of bias, this explosive controversy has everyone talking. Stay tuned, because what Kelly revealed will leave you questioning the league's motives.
And Iowa has Caitlin Clark, who's become this huge star. She's amazing, and she's getting all this attention, and some nasty press reporters are upset about it.
Did you see that? Megyn Kelly, the Megyn Kelly, just made some explosive comments about the WNBA, and she's not holding back. She's openly criticizing the league for treating Caitlin Clark as though she's some kind of adversary. Unbelievable, right? So what exactly did Kelly say that has the WNBA in such an uproar? Her bold remarks about Caitlin Clark have set the basketball world ablaze, creating a huge stir throughout the league. Kelly's words were direct, and now her comments have everyone on edge. Let's get into the details everyone's buzzing about.
But she came out to say her own scoring record stands despite Caitlin Clark beating it, because I guess they didn't have three-pointers when she was playing, which is just ridiculous.
Kelly didn't hesitate in her criticism of the WNBA's treatment of Clark. She firmly declared that what's happening to Clark is genuinely serious. Hard to believe? This wasn't just a casual remark. Kelly's words carry serious weight.
So she's getting a lot of hate from people like that. Of course, Jamel Hill has weighed in, like a lot of people taking shots at her.
You're probably thinking, since when does Megyn Kelly care about basketball? Fair question. She usually steers clear of sports controversies. So why is she speaking out now? The reason is that what's happening to Clark is so shocking that Kelly felt compelled to weigh in.
She's been in the WNBA for 2 minutes. There's no reason to hate her other than the amount of attention she's getting and her skin color. I mean, would this be happening to a black Caitlin Clark?
No.
Getting the same amount of attention.
This is where it gets intense. Kelly revealed that some players are actively targeting Clark on the court. She's not talking about typical defense or standard competition. She's claiming Clark is facing outright abuse. And here's the kicker. She says the league is allowing it. Can you believe it?
And it's resulted in physical alterations on the court that don't get called as fouls, that the girls then deny were intentional. And Caitlin Clark always takes the high road. She never, points the finger, but it happened again.
But Kelly didn't stop there. She tied Clark's treatment to larger issues in women's sports. You've seen Clark in the spotlight quite a bit recently, right? Well, Kelly made a shocking claim, saying that
many black women inside the WNBA are resentful that this white woman came in and is getting all this attention.
That's a serious allegation, and it's ignited strong reactions across the board. Kelly isn't just talking about fouls and aggressive play. She's pointing to a serious amount of racial tension simmering beneath the surface of the WNBA. She believes Clark is right at the center of it all.
The people weren't going, Jake, because they were homophobic, racists. That's why the other girls resent Caitlin getting attention, because she's not black.
You may be wondering if Kelly's on the mark with all of this. That's the big question. One thing's certain, though. Her remarks are forcing everyone to take a hard look at what's truly going on in the league. Kelly believes Clark is pushing the sport into the mainstream, and if that's the case, not everyone seems happy about it.
These are the highest ratings in more than 10 years. And it is 100% because of Caitlin Clark.
Those are regular NBA ratings. Like if you get a couple million people watching an NBA game, you're pretty happy as a network guy. She is the Michael Jordan. Like I know you're not a major basketball
Him, I
person, but she is the Michael Jordan of female basketball. Every single player in that league, every single coach, manager, janitor, anyone who has anything to do with that league should be bowing at the altar of this woman. She is transforming the sport into something mainstream, which is what the WNBA was set out to do, and I think it started in 1994 or 1995.
This isn't just gossip. It's a seismic shift rocking the WNBA. And trust me, we're only feeling the first tremors. The aftershocks from Kelly's revelations are going to resonate for a long time. If Caitlin Clark's challenges on the court weren't enough, her recent success off the court has sparked even more questions. While the LPGA rolled out the red carpet for her Pro-Am debut, the WNBA stayed silent. Why is the league hesitant to embrace its brightest star? The contrast is striking, and the answers might surprise you.
Higher television ratings, higher attendance figures. Ladies and gentlemen, that doesn't come courtesy of a league. It comes courtesy of the players that play in the league. And in her case, she was the most popular, which means she could have helped your bottom line, which means you should have seen that from day one and maximized it, but you didn't do it.
Caitlin Clark's golf debut just made me so upset with the WNBA because the LPGA just did everything that the WNBA should have been doing this season.
Caitlin Clark has already made her mark in women's sports, but this time it wasn't on the basketball court. Her stellar debut at an LPGA Pro-Am event turned heads, leaving fans and critics alike in awe.
Now, from this event, I have only seen and heard of positive things. I didn't hear one thing about how her fans are toxic. I didn't hear one thing about there being too much spotlight on Caitlin Clark, and it should have maybe been on the professional golfers that are there. We didn't hear any of that.
While the LPGA rolled out the red carpet for Caitlin, the WNBA's complete lack of recognition didn't go unnoticed. What's really going on behind the scenes?
I honestly just got so triggered by Caitlin Clark's golf debut, and it is no fault of hers that I got upset. It is the fault of the WNBA because the LPGA just did everything.
Caitlin Clark is now a household name, not just for her WNBA accomplishments, but also for her surprising success in golf. Her participation in the LPGA Pro-Am wasn't just a casual celebrity appearance. It quickly became a nationally recognized event. Fans flocked to see her in action, with many pushing for the tournament to be televised. When it finally aired, the LPGA struck gold. They didn't just feature Caitlin, they made her the face of the event.
How this Pro-Am event originally wasn't even going to be televised, but there were so many fans who were emailing the organization saying, how can we watch Caitlin? Can we come to the event? Can you live stream it? All of these things. And it ended up being put on television.
Here's the genius behind it. The LPGA didn't just stumble upon this success, they orchestrated it perfectly. They paired Caitlin with Nelly Korda, the world's top-ranked golfer. Think about it, one of the brightest stars in women's basketball teaming up with golf's #1. That wasn't a coincidence. It was brilliant marketing. Social media was flooded with photos of Caitlin and Nelly, creating a buzz that reached far beyond golf enthusiasts. Basketball fans, golf lovers, and more were instantly drawn in.
Fans were really excited about that. There was so much buzz online. She was trending on Twitter, all of the things. And the LPGA was promoting the crap out of this event. And they also did something really smart by pairing her up with their currently #1 golfer in the world.
Meanwhile, the WNBA, the very league that catapulted Caitlin to fame, remained completely silent. No tweets, no posts, no acknowledgement of her golf success. Fans noticed immediately, and it raised some serious questions. Why wasn't the WNBA celebrating such a major moment? It felt like a massive missed opportunity, especially considering how the LPGA showcased Caitlin's star power in a way that resonated across sports.
There are photos of Caitlin and Nelly literally everywhere. And the LPGA was so smart in doing this because they knew that there would be so many eyeballs on Caitlin. So if they put their number one golfer, who is currently leading the sport and pushing the sport ahead, if they put her next to Caitlin for the entire event, that's just great. It's great for Nelly and it's great for everyone else.
It wasn't just the LPGA that capitalized on Caitlin's fame. Media outlets were all over it too. From SportsCenter to Bleacher Report, her every move at the event was covered, from her swings to her interactions with fans. Everything Caitlin did became headline news. The LPGA took full advantage, not only highlighting Caitlin, but also shining a spotlight on their top golfers. It was a win-win scenario. In contrast, the WNBA seemed to take a completely different route. Throughout Caitlin's rookie season, many fans felt the league didn't do enough to promote her. Despite her standout performances and the undeniable Caitlin Clark effect on viewership, the WNBA appeared hesitant to fully embrace her soaring popularity. Critics argued that the league was too focused on evenly distributing attention, even when Caitlin was clearly the primary draw. This reluctance became even more evident during the LPGA Pro-Am. While the LPGA leaned into Caitlin's growing fame, the WNBA's silence was deafening. Fans were quick to voice their frustrations on social media. Many highlighted that this was exactly what they had been saying all season. The WNBA wasn't leveraging Caitlin's popularity to its fullest potential. Why would the WNBA hold back? Some suggest the league is cautious about spotlighting one player too much, worried it could overshadow others or create internal tension. Others argue that it's simply a missed opportunity tied to outdated marketing strategies. Whatever the reason, the stark contrast between the LPGA's bold approach and the WNBA's hesitation couldn't have been more obvious.